Whipping all this dope up in the trap house. We fuck all you bitches at the trap house. I can't trust you, I can't give you real address. I can't trust you, I can't give you real address. Ain't no me that be like Jerry Stacker. I might fall in love with my trap house.
Stay savage, your boy Shino Intro. What's poppin'? Today we are back and we're here to talk about some Boruto. I know we dropped a bit of video the other day. I was supposed to get up one yesterday, but like I was not feeling it, dog. I think I woke up at like 4:44 p.m. I'm talking about in the evening, dog, like CST. I was like dead as fuck, bro. I don't know what was going on, but hey, as you guys know, we have a lit situation over there on Twitch at night, so that usually winds up with a late night morning type shit, because I usually go to bed around 7-8 a.m., which isn't healthy for me, but all in all, I'm here. Today we're gonna be talking about Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki as a whole in a unit, right? As you guys know, Boruto just acquired the Garaga, who is aka a snake from, you know, the Sage Cave, you know what I'm saying, where he basically can train Ryuchi Cave, essentially where he can be able to train to learn, you know, a Sage mode. When we saw Mitsuki first introduced early on in the series, we saw him introduced with something that was completely unique to him. Now, obviously we've seen Sage mode in the past, but we've seen a complete mastery early on, already put into his genetic code. You know, whenever he got emotionally riled up, he was able to tap into this power. We even saw him get ready to do this when he was about to fight Yoshiki. You know, he even like was thinking about doing it against Shinki, but instead he took the L. You know, he let Shinki win the fight, even though he was like, you know, wanted to just to beat his ass, but he thought his relationship with Boruto was more important, right? So off the bat, Sage mode. That's like the key factor in this video, right? Sage mode is something that we've seen reoccurring in the series. We've seen, you know, Kabuto try to acquire it. We've seen Orochimaru lost his body trying to use Sage mode. He became a snake. You know, we've seen Minato not be able to master it, so that's why he wasn't good at it. We've seen Jiraiya, you know, actually mastering that shit. We've seen Naruto pick it up, you know what I'm saying, and he mastered it as well. There's a lot of different factors with this, right? So as we know, in the previous series, we know about the legendary 3 Sannin, which would be Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade. I think this trio was really unique and they were very like strong, you know what I'm saying? And then we seen a reappearance in the next generation, which would have been Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto. You know, obviously these three represented, you know, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru. You know, Sasuke having a snake like Orochimaru, Naruto having like the toad like Jiraiya, and then we seen Sakura with the slug like Tsunade. So what's different in this generation, right? We see Mitsuki, a person that uses snakes all the time, you know what I mean? It seems like he's going to use a snake as his summoning tool, or his summoning beast. I wouldn't say tool because they're not tools, they're actually beasts. So he'll use a summoning snake as his beast because, you know, he obviously uses snakes a lot. So why would he just come out of the blue with a toad? Not to mention we see Boruto pick up Garaga, who is already like a snake, you know, he's like this giant ass snake, which I spoke on early in the video. So now like when we see this snake pop up, you know, then we see Oda talking to Sarada, basically saying, you know, I've wished for the day that I would meet you. You smell like Sasuke, you know what I mean? You remind me of my master, you know, you kind of give me that like hint that you're my master. You know, obviously Oda knows about Sarada because of Sasuke, and he talks about how he longed for the day that he will meet her. He always wanted to meet her. So off the back, he always wanted to meet her, right? He always wanted to see Sarada. So essentially he maybe thought one day that he would instead help Sasuke go and help Sarada, you know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, with Naruto and the boss told, you know what I'm saying? It was one of those things where they reconnected that way. Now what I'm seeing here is 3 snake summonings, right? Obviously a lot of people wanted Boruto to have something that was completely unique to him, not just a snake, not just a toad, maybe a monkey, maybe a lion. I've seen so many people say so many different things regarding that, but overall this is what we kind of got, and I mean this is kind of what we're gonna stick with. But as a whole, we see him, you know, getting a snake. Then we see, you know, Mitsuki primary abilities require him to use snakes, obviously created by Orochimaru. That would be one of his signature traits. Now we see Sarada. Sarada is not necessarily the healer of the group. A lot of people like to like give her that like title, but we never seen Sarada actually heal anybody. You know, I always thought that Mitsuki would be like the healer of the group. Now clearly I know a lot of you guys have played Shinobi Strikers, and in Shinobi Strikers they label Sarada as like a healer. You know, they give her the healer classification. They also do the same thing to Shikamaru, which is completely weird, you know, so I'm not gonna really go off of that. But as for what we've seen in the series and what we've seen in the manga, I haven't seen Sarada heal Boruto at all. Now mind you, she is the daughter of Sakura, so there is still time for change, and we didn't necessarily see Sakura do any healing early on in the series. More so like the background coverage, you know, obviously she would bandage Naruto up, but she wasn't using like palm sage or like, you know, doing this type of shit to like heal, you know, people up, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't one where she was using her chakra to like help them recover stamina or help them recover their flesh and shit like that. So where I'm getting at is we might get a 3 legendary snake signing. Like, that's different, completely out of the blue. Now I know a lot of people are really upset about what happened with Boruto getting Garuga, but honestly I feel like that was perfect for Boruto due to the fact that Oda and Sarada already seem to share a connection, which is Sasuke. Not to mention Oda wanted to meet her on his own, right? So he was like, he already wanted to seek her out, he already wanted to see who she was and basically understand her as a ninja, you know. And not to mention he taking commands from her really well. Now I know a lot of people are upset because they wanted to see Sarada get Oda, and honestly, not Oda, Garuga, you know what I mean? Honestly, I wouldn't be upset with that because, you know, she wears red clothes, he's red. Kind of makes sense. They look kind of fitting. Obviously, we all thought maybe Boruto was going to follow along the lines of getting a toad, but then that would be rinse and repeat, you know? And if he did get a toad, he would have a snake and a toad. Now, I know a lot of you guys can be like, oh, once you make a contract, you can't have another. No, that's not true. Sasuke had a snake and he had a hawk. Snakes and hawks are mortal enemies. You know what I mean? Toads and snakes are mortal enemies. So it's like, even though like these two like completely conflict with each other, you can still have them. Look at Pain. Pain had a whole bunch of different summonings in his arsenal that we couldn't like, you know, think about. Like we were just like, yo, he pulled out a crab, man pulled out an ox, my man pulled out some fucking birds, paws. Like this dude was doing all type of ish, like, you know what I mean? So he was really stacked in terms of his abilities. So now we're gonna see Boruto potentially get another summoning later on in the future, which may be a toad. You know, we might see him run up with the snake and a toad. You know, it might be one of those things where we might see him with all three. You know, it could go in a lot of different directions. But so far what we're seeing right now is a pattern. I see snakes popping up everywhere, like not just in my friend groups. I see snakes just popping up everywhere. Like snakes are all amongst us in the Boruto series. Mitsuki being the person that primarily uses snakes, and then Boruto picking up like Garuga as his summoning, and then we have Sarada, who's probably going to get Oda later on in the future. Not to mention there's a lot of different other paths she could probably take. I mean, she might pop up with a slug, and, you know, or some shit like that, but I think it would just be completely weird. Not to mention I don't see Mitsuki getting a toad or a slug anytime soon, or at any point in the series at that fact. But I thought it was really tight. You know, it would change up the scenery and give you like something that's refreshing regarding the series, because if you look at what's been taking place, you know, we've seen Naruto train and get Sage Mode, like the Toad Sage Mode, you know, and we've seen, you know, Kabuto acquire it, but we don't know the extent of it. We don't know like the true essence of his abilities. So that's why I feel like they put Mitsuki in that series as somebody who has Sage Mode early on, so we can see it a little bit more, because, you know, we saw Kabuto with it, you know what I mean? He used it a little bit, but then he got finessed by Sasuke and Itachi, and then he got put in the Izanagi. So it was one of those things where it was just like, oh yeah, I mean, he had it, but was it really like all that amazing? You know, is this the thing that Orochimaru really was searching for? You know what I mean? So I felt kind of bad for Kabuto because his Sage Mode shit was kind of short-lived. So maybe we'll see them all three pull out a Sage Mode using snakes. Like that should be kind of hot. Like, you know, that should be tight. Like I would love to see that, you know, see Boruto pull up some shit. But like, you know, if they didn't, I would be okay with that, because Boruto's already kind of stacked. You know, him having a Karma Seal, him having a Jogan and shit like that. Not to mention he's a prodigy. And I see how he got this giant snake. It's not like he needed the giant snake, but in a way he kind of needed it, but he didn't want it because of power. So I like how they wrote it in. You know, Naruto wanted to learn the summoning jutsu technique so he could get stronger, so he can beat Sasuke, or so that he can pass the Chunin exams, right? But for like Boruto, it wasn't something that like he needed or he wanted. It was something that he well, I wouldn't say needed. He needed it, but he didn't want it. He didn't want power, and they kind of wrote it in there, was like, yo, look, I could just take your reverse scale, or you know what, you could just come with me and watch me prove to you that, hey, my friend's not gonna betray me like yours did. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where it just kind of led into it, you know, because technically he didn't need it, because he could have just took the reverse scale. He just chose to take him with him in order to prove him wrong, because obviously Garuga thought he was a dumbass and thought maybe he was going to get betrayed in the future. So it's like, you know, we see Boruto getting in a different route, and I like how they wrote that in compared to other situations in the series where we see Naruto kind of get something more for the fact that he wants to be stronger, or he needs more power, or the fact that he wants to beat Sasuke. But Boruto as a whole, Boruto has been showing us a lot of different shit due to his own abilities, and not necessarily because he needs these things, but more so because, you know, it just kind of leads into that, or usually because he's trying to prove himself. Like the whole series is basically Boruto proving that he's a lot different from his father, and, you know, he's a lot better than his dad in his own right. Now I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, you know, I can't believe you said that Boruto's not better than Naruto, blah 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 blah. Kakashi already said the previous generation is gonna be weaker to the next generation. You know, it's already been proven. You know, Naruto and them did that to the previous generation. Like, you know, Hashirama was looking at them fighting, and he was like, yo, this is what the next generation, this is their hands, like, you know, this is what they can do. Like, it was like, okay, I completely trust the Shinobi world and the Leaf Village in their hands, because look at them, they're bossing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Naruto, Sasuke was already bossing. Now Sakura, she had to step up her boss, but like, you know, obviously she made the cut. Outside of that, like Shikamaru, Choji, like all those people were doing like mad work. You know, Sai is hella investigative. This man is hella smart. So like overall, we're gonna see Boruto generation excel in the same way. Not to mention Shikadai is like 10 times smarter than Shikamaru already in a way. Because if you look at how Shikamaru was back in that previous gen, you know, at that young age that Shikadai was, this man Shikadai is already like plotting, putting together like these fire ass strategic like plots and shit like that. You know, he's already mastering shogi and shit like that. My nigga is just setting up to be like the GOAT. Like this generation is setting up to be fire. So to see the legendary snake signing would be kind of dope. Like to see all of them have, you know, snakes summonings and shit like that, and then they'll be like all three of them on the battlefield. You know, obviously Oda will be blue. You know, we see Garga with the red, and then we'll probably see Mitsuki pull up with the white. And that shit will be fire, son. You can't tell me you don't think that's a sweet idea. Let me know your personal thoughts and personal opinions on them, but all three getting a legendary snake summoning, or all three getting a snake summoning and becoming the like the legendary snake signing or some shit like that. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up. And with that being said, my name is Shino Bentro. Stay true and stay real. And until next time, see you guys later. Bye.